I just want to thank Rav Yossi for inviting me, and I want to. Rav Yossi told me that the Kollel just recently finished Hilchah Shabbos. My sense, and downstairs we just spoke about this. My sense is all of Klal Yisrael has been pointed. One, Hashem is guiding us and leading us. We've very much been pointed to Shabbos Kodesh, which obviously even before this year, Shabbos is a central theme of Yiddishkeit, but this year we clearly, between a year that we didn't blow the shofar midaraisa because Shabbos, so Shabbos, if you will, was our shofar. We didn't have the Daled Minim midaraisa. Shabbos was our Daled Minim. And then we went through what Klal Yisrael has gone through, and it happened on Shabbos. So Shabbos has been pointed to. In Yeshiva, I know we made Chazukim. And when I say Chazukim, I don't mean anything stressful, because Shabbos has to be with a simcha. It has to be with, it's a day of recognizing we're in good hands. What I chapped about Shabbos, I'm going to express it in this way, Maishi, is a big part of my own journey. The Avoid of Shabbos, I'm a Levi, and us Leviim, the song that Leviim sing on Shabbos is Tov Lahedes Lashem. The younger version, I thought that the job on Shabbos is to thank Hashem, like work harder to thank Hashem. Shabbos, thank Hashem. It's the song of Shabbos. I've come to realize that Shabbos is a place to enter, that from that place you see the Chesed Hashem. It's a whole different thing. Shabbos is a mitzius that a Yid on Shabbos feels the comfort and recognizes Tov Lahedes Lashem. The song of Shabbos is, it's good to thank Hashem, because Shabbos is a place that a Yid can easier experience the kindness of Hashem. In the place called Shabbos, a Yid thanks Hashem. And all week we might experience things that seem difficult, that seem schwer and hard to understand. And the Yid enters the space called Shabbos, and in that space called Shabbos, the Yid recognizes the Chesed Hashem. Of course, you could have an Avodah to thank Hashem on Shabbos Kodesh. It is an Avodah, but it's something, it's not an Avodah, you're not fighting, you're in sync with the times. On Shabbos, a Yid experiences the kindness of Hashem and can easier plug into the kindness of Hashem. So I want to share a story and a vart from Rav Shaul Alter. I had this chus, the first time in my life I've heard Shiurim from the Ger Rosh Yeshiva, and I've read his Torah. One of my sons and I, every Shabbos before Shachris, I like learning the Torah of Rav Shaul Alter. I appreciate a lot what he says. So I was zeich for the first time in my life today to meet him in person and to see, just to put my eyes on such a Yid was very, very wonderful. And he's a Yid who exudes this midah of appreciating we're in good hands. He looks like one of the calmest people. I've heard from his Torah, I heard it. And then seeing him, he just exudes somebody who's in good hands. He's in good hands, relaxed, he's calm. It's a certain happiness, a certain simchas achayim that he exudes. So I want to share something specifically from him to a Kollel that just learned Shabbos, Hilchah Shabbos, and to a nation that's trying to tap into Shabbos Kodesh, which is that place that we recognize Hashem is leading us, and we're in very, very good hands. It's a day of Tov Lahedes Lashem. So I want to share something from Rav Shaul Alter. He said Pshat in a Maisa. Rav Aaron of Belz, his story of his Rav Aaron saving from the Nazis is a very, very famous story. There's a book on Rav Aaron of Belz, and incredible nisim. He became invisible different times. There's stories, there nisim he experienced. Shaloi k'derech hateva. He was a Yid who lived on a very, very close to Hashem level and lived in an amazing life. Rav Aaron of Belz at one point was running from the Nazis, and he told his driver, they were mamish running for their lives, they were bedafka trying to get him, and he told his driver, pull over to the side of the road. And the driver said, Rebbe, we're going to die if we pull over. And he said, pull over. They pull over. He goes, sits on a rock outside his car. He thinks for a few minutes. The Rebbe thinks for a few minutes. And then And then he comes back to the car and he says, "Jetzt we can fahren. It's been great. I'm ready. Jetzt we can fahren. We can travel." So they asked what the pshat was. The Rebbe lived mysterious. He told a friend later on that pshat is that while he was running from the Nazis, he asked himself that what is the Yetzer Hara trying to do to me? And he said the Yetzer Hara is trying to ruin my menuchas hanefesh. He's trying to make me bahaladik, and so I said I'm not letting the Yetzer Hara win this one, and I'm going to get calm. That's what he explained. Now, obviously, the explanation needs an explanation. The Rashi needs a Rashi because to go outside and put your life in danger hardly seems like the way to get calm. And couldn't he sit in the car and get calm? It's weird. So Reb Shaul Alter, the Geresh Yeshiva, said Pshat and Rav Aaron Belz, and he said that Rav Aaron Belz's machshavos are higher than we can comprehend. Who knows what tikkunim, what was happening, what he saw? But Reb Shaul Alter, I would love to know his explanation. Says I would like to say the way it hits me, and he said a Pshat. He said like this: the Psukim say by Yaakov Avinu was doing a shtadlus to save himself from Esav, so it says Revach Tasimu bein Eder le'Eder. In order to make he was giving a gift to Esav, to make the gift looked more, see he spaced a certain space between the flocks. I was a few times we would drive past Newark Airport. I don't know why Punk there. If anybody's ever seen this, when the planes come in, they come in staggered, and clearly there's a tower control, and you could be driving there, especially if you're in traffic. It looks like crazy amounts of planes, because every time one plane comes, you see another plane appear. Then it lands and another, then it lands and another. When you're there, I imagine you're only seeing 15, 20 planes. It feels like you see hundreds. It's the trick of Yaakov Avinu that if you stagger and it's just another one comes, another, your mind automatically multiplies what you're seeing. It just works. It's true. The Torah doesn't need my askama, but by Newark Airport, I experienced this multiple times. It happens to be cool. I don't know why. You can see it in Kennedy. I've seen it on the highway in Newark, and they must route the planes. They all come in from the same angle. You've ever seen this, Mo? A plane comes in. You've ever seen this, Maish? And then the next plane, the next. But to the point, if you saw only 20 planes, it looks like it's almost like it's going to keep happening. Your mind automatically multiplies it. So Yaakov Avinu had this trick. In giving to Esav, there was the proper spacing, and it kept coming. So Esav automatically, whatever gifts he was getting, you multiplied in your brain. That's how the brain works. Says the Baal HaTurim. On this Revach Tasimu bein Eder le'Eder, so the Baal HaTurim says the word Revach Tasimu. It says by the Megillas Esther, Revach v'atzala yamad makom acher, Revach. Very cryptic, Kedarka B'Kodesh, the Baal HaTurim. What shaychus? He says Revach Tasimu bein Eder le'Eder, Revach v'atzala yamad makom acher. Said Reb Shaul Alter brilliantly that Revach Tasimu bein Eder le'Eder is the shtadlus of Yaakov Avinu. And said to Rav Shaul Alter, when you're doing hishtadlus, so you feel like you're the one doing things. You're working hard, you have a gewaldige plan. Yaakov Avinu, while he did hishtadlus, we have a chayv hishtadlus, but he remembered Revach v'atzal yad mimakom acher. That was Mordechai telling Esther, if you don't save the Yidden, they'll have other Yeshuas. So as much as you're doing the hishtadlus, but it's all in the Rebbeinu Shalom good hands. We have a chiyuv to do, but we're in the Rebbeinu Shalom's hands. So that's the Revach. Revach Tasimu is the hishtadlus of Yaakov Avinu. Revach v'atzal yad mimakom acher is the yisai that whatever hishtadlus, we're in Hashem's hands. And while Yaakov was doing the Revach Tasimu, he was thinking Revach v'atzal yad mimakom acher, that it's not my hishtadlus that's necessary. Said Rav Shaul Alter. Rav Aaron Belz was running away, and while he was doing a shtadlus, you can get a bahala that your shtadlus is needed. You can feel overwhelmed that your shtadlus is needed. Said Rav Shaul Alter, that's pshat, that he got out of the car and sat in a rock. He needed to bring back the equilibrium in Hashem's hands, and he went back to the dangerous place. He said, I can't do this. I'm in your hands. Then when he felt I'm in Hashem's hands, it relaxed him. Then he had to go back to his shtadlus of running away. Today by Rav Shaul Alter this morning, Rav Shaul Alter told us in person, just to hear a person who clearly this is something that is an avodah, the calmness, what he gives off, like he's like a bored, almost like a bored person, he's so relaxed and happy, gives off this sense we're in good hands. And he was telling us that Hashem runs the world. He said, like you give your little child like a fake steering wheel in the car. I had a game with my kids when they were younger. I'd play as if they had to control how fast I was going. They press the seat and you go faster. You give like such a sense that the kids control. He said, we all have a fake steering wheel. And the aside that we're in good hands, that Hashem is driving and leading us in good places and taking us, and that we're in good hands, Hashem's hands. This is the Bechina of Shabbos, is a Bechina of this. I'll end with the Baal Shem. I don't think I ever told Moshe this Baal Shem. And
that car thing was real.
Moshe's saying he just got like his whole youth is now like blown up. I never told you this Baal Shem, Moshe, and I'll end with this Baal Shem, amazing Baal Shem. Everything's hashgacha. We went through a loss in yeshiva, a bacher I'm very close to, and I'm close to his tat, and his father was suddenly nifter a couple of months ago. He was nifter on Leil Shishi, on Erev Shabbos Kodesh. And it was Friday morning, actually. Friday morning, it was Erev Shabbos Kodesh, a beautiful yid. It was a sudden patira. We were all like swooning. The whole yeshiva, the man was a beautiful yid, very special person. His son, who's in Eretz Yisrael with me now, is one of the most popular guys in yeshiva. It was very, very, very shook us all up. My son Hudi, he was a close friend, was walking around like lost. His friends were walking around yeshiva. It was a very sudden and difficult loss. The Erev Shabbos, we were all working on details, arrangements, the Levaya, a lot was going on. It was right before Shabbos, and there's certain svarim that I could tap into that bring me a certain menucha, and I try. I don't get to do it often, but I try once in 4 weeks. Once in a while, I get to see the Nesiva Shalom on Shabbos. I just lost a friend. It was Nifter Erev Shabbos, and I just figured before Shabbos, I want to come into Shabbos with some Yishuv Adas, and I open up the Nesiva Shalom. The first piece he writes of that week's Nesiva Shalom, the first piece, is that if he brings the Gemara, that if somebody's nifter Erev Shabbos is a siman yafalei, that it's a good siman to be nifter Erev Shabbos. He says, what's pshat? What's pshat in that Gemara? What's Chazal saying? We don't choose when after 120, we don't choose. What's the Gemara picking a choice day to go? What's the Gemara saying to us? Says the Baal Shem. What does it mean, nifter Erev Shabbos? That it's a siman yafalei? Says the Baal Shem that every single yid's job is to come into Shabbos. On Shabbos, we recognize Hashem, we're in Hashem's hands. The avoid the Erev Shabbos is to be mace. Every single yid. Give it up to Hashem. We have a guy in yeshiva by us whose relationship to Shabbos is naira, is nifla. On his own, he didn't know this Baal Shem. Every Erev Shabbos before Shabbos, he would read to Hashem a list of all his problems and say, it's yours, Hashem. Hashlech el Hashem es yahavcha, throw to Hashem, and he'd go in and enjoy Shabbos Kodesh. He did it on his own. Every single week. Would read his list before Shabbos, and I'm giving it to Hashem. Then he would celebrate Shabbos. And the Baal Shem says every single yid, that's the job Erev Shabbos, is to be mace. Give it up. Stop feeling we need to do. All right, give it up, be mace. He said somebody's mace Erev Shabbos is simin yafalei. That's a mashmais that Hashem runs the way he lives like that. That's the bechin of mace. Erev Shabbos, every yid gives it up on Erev Shabbos, and the comfort of that Baal Shem. Here we were staggered and overwhelmed, and you feel a young man suddenly. So you feel older, you get scared. Practically, you're scared. You feel a certain, I don't know what's next, what's happening. And we had this Baal Shem who taught us that the avodah of a yid is to recognize we're in good hands. We're in the Rabbeinu Shalom's hands. That's the yid's job, Erev Shabbos, to come into Shabbos and see Tov L'Hodos L'Hashem. We're in good hands. Shuvi nafshi l'chaychi. Bring my nefesh to a calmness. Ki Hashem gamal loichi. Hashem's being noiches with us. All of us should be zeiche, our entire nation. All of us should be zeiche together with Kollel Yisrael to recognize we're in very, very, very good hands. We should all be zeiche begalui to see the chesed Hashem. Al taster panach mimeni. It shouldn't be with hester panim. We should be zeiche to see the kindness of Hashem. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you.